Josh Gerstein is back. Also joining now, former federal prosecutor Alyse Adamson. Welcome to you both. Josh, let me start with you. Is this a distraction?
I mean, I think there's no question it's very convenient for the Trump Justice Department to have this announcement come out. I think it's a big tell, Victor, that all the reports that have come out about this say Attorney General Pam Bondi has ordered this to happen. Well, she's the one that's been in the hot seat over the Epstein files. So I think there's no question, like I said, that it's something that the Justice Department is pleased to have as a distraction from the Epstein mess that the soup they've been in for 3 weeks now.
And Gabbard was in the hot seat over her assessment of Iran and disagreed with the president as well. So this may benefit both of them if that is indeed what it is, a distraction. Alyse, let me come to you. Walk us through what happens now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a significant escalation, if you will. Before, we had Tulsi Gabbard saying that she had made a criminal referral to the Department of Justice. A lot of times those referrals don't go anywhere. It's up to the Department of Justice. It's within their discretion to open a grand jury investigation. What this means now is a grand jury has been impaneled, and now the grand jury has subpoena power, which means they can request documents to further investigate these claims. Even more significantly, they can bring witnesses into the grand jury, ask them questions. I mean, will they actually bring in these high-level witnesses like a Brennan, a Comey? I mean, we talked about this before we came on air. In the Epstein files, we hear they only brought summary witnesses in, law enforcement personnel. So we don't know what they will do, but that is a power that prosecutors will have now. I think it's going to be very uncomfortable for a few Obama-era officials going forward, because a grand jury investigation definitely has consequences, and it seems Attorney General Bondi is serious about this, and I know is also going to be answering to the president. So I think the next steps is going to be additional evidence gathering.
Subpoenaing documents, coming in for interviews with the grand jury. We could see some of those top officials pulled in. Potentially.
Yeah. Again, that isn't always the department's practice. There are a variety of reasons. We don't need to get into the weeds. Just, you know, the grand jury, we talked about this as well. The grand jury can ask questions of witnesses. It is not always department practice to bring in the high-level targets of an investigation. These are folks that the grand jury could ultimately issue charges against. But it is possible. So those would be the next steps. And then the last step, if the evidence suggests, allows it, the standard for a grand jury is probable cause.
Yeah.
The grand jury could then issue something that's called an indictment. That is a formal charging document. That is how they charge individuals. But that standard probable cause, that's much lower than when you take a case to trial, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. There used to be a joke that you could indict a ham sandwich, and that's because the standard of evidence is much lower.
Let's talk about the evidence, because the Trump-Russia investigation scandal was investigated how many ways? I mean, congressional investigations, 2 special counsels. Do you think it's possible that there is something new, that she has found something new?
I think it's unlikely. I mean, they may have found a document somewhere that's different than something some prior prosecutors saw, but that chances that would really tip the balance here towards bringing criminal charges against someone, I think is unlikely. I mean, Special Counsel John Durham, who was appointed specifically to look into the origins of the Trump-Russia investigation, which sounds almost exactly like what they're talking about this investigation being.
Yeah.
He looked really, really hard to try to find potential charges here. So hard that he brought a total of 3 cases, and he lost 2 of them. In one case, the person pled guilty, and the other 2 they lost at trial. So he was not someone that was, wary about taking a case that might not be successful, that was on the borderline. They did that twice and lost. So it seems very unlikely to me that there were a lot of rocks that special counsel's office decided not to turn over.
Statute of limitations. I mean, for most federal crimes, it's 5 years. It's now 2025. We're talking about investigating several years ago. Is it plausible that there will be charges filed based on that window?
Well, first of all, I don't even see the basis for charges. Let's just be clear. With the evidence as we understand it, and again, this has been well investigated for almost a decade, I don't even understand what charges they would bring, but just assuming maybe they're bringing an obstruction charge, a perjury charge like they tried to in the first place. You're right, 5 years is a statute of limitations. There are ways to revive charges. And if someone has conduct is more recent, then they can bring those charges back, they can revive them. But once again, we haven't heard any allegation to make that possible. So as it stands now, which what we know, I don't know how they could possibly bring charges. That's not to say that some enterprising prosecutor isn't trying to. I mean, that they would argue that's the purpose of the grand jury investigation. That's why they're investigating.
But the process can be the punishment also, Victor, right? I mean, if they call several prominent individuals from the Obama administration in front of a grand jury and those people feel like they have no choice or their lawyers advise them that they should take the Fifth Amendment, which they have the right to do, that will be a big story and a big scene. And as much as we think this is a distraction now, that will be a continuing distraction. And that might be, you know, as we say, punishment in the eyes of some for whatever transgression might have taken place here. And from the point of view of, say, someone like President Trump, he might regard that as a tit for tat, appropriate kind of retaliation through the legal system for what the wrongs that he thinks were committed against him during the years before he came back in.
Time, money, reputational damage, all of it could go on for some time. Josh, Alyse, thank you.